Have you ever wanted a butler, a gentleman's gentleman, one of those guys who's like a well-oiled machine and makes sure every little task that you have gets done with as little discomfort to you as possible?
Now, while we don't have a gentleman's gentleman, what we do have are its automotive equivalents, the Toyota Corolla Altis and the Volkswagen Jetta. Now, both these cars have been designed for one reason: to get you through your day with minimum fuss and maximum comfort. Now, the question is, which of these cars does it better?
Now, ordinarily, this would be the point where we tell you about the styling of the cars.
But that's the funny thing. There really is no styling to speak of. I mean, there's no lines or curves that make you go, oh, hey there, gorgeous, or how many drinks down was I when I brought you home? These cars are exactly like well-trained butlers. They'll do the job all right, but you'd never notice that they're in the room. And funnily enough, that's the point.
So then the question is, how does Jeeves here drive?
Now, the Altis uses the same 1.8-litre petrol engine as the previous Corolla, and given how successful that one was, that's a good thing.
What Toyota has done is to give the Altis a brand new ECU, which is a bit like taking Jeeves' old brain out and giving him a more efficient new one. So the Altis does 132 horsepower, which is 7 more than on the old Corolla. Not a massive difference, but hey, it's there.
Now, what I like about this engine is how ready it seems for the city. Toyota's packed in enough power and torque on the lower part of the rev band, so it's there if I suddenly need to make a quick overtake.
Which is all well and good, but let's face it, no one makes engines like the Germans, yeah? What I've got on this Jetta is a 1.9-litre TDI pump-deuce engine. Now, what that means in English is direct fuel injection. But I love the way the Germans come up with these really hardcore, manly-sounding names for their engines, like Pump Deuce or Compressor with a K. I mean, who do they hire to write these names? Rammstein? Anyway, my Pump Deuce engine here has 105 brake horsepower, which might not sound like a lot, but it does have one of the main joys of diesel: torque. Lots of torque. What's amazing about this car is that even though it's a diesel, it's got a surprising lack of lag. I mean, it's clean off the line, it just goes without any jerks, and the power just keeps on coming. I mean, of course, because it's a diesel, it's a lot louder than the Corolla's petrol engine. But the truth is, in a straight line, this would murder the Corolla.
But what about the other stuff that's normally built around the engine? Like, the car?
Now, the ride on both these cars is comfortable in a numb sort of way. Except for giant man-swallowing potholes, none of those bumps ever make their way up to the seat. Now, that way you can continue reading your morning paper in the back seat as the driver gets you to work. But that's what these cars were built for. They're Monday to Friday cars. On the weekends though, when it's the butler's day off, if you are looking for fun with either the Jetta or the Altis, then sir, you have the wrong car.
But then there is the question of how much your butler costs.
Now, prices for Japa Jeeves over here start at 10.6 lakh rupees and go all the way up to 13 lakhs if you're going to go and get the fully loaded automatic version. Now, the question is this: you're most likely to have a chauffeur who is going to do all the heavy lifting, so why would you go and spend 13 lakhs to get the auto box?
Sadly, might just be my German butler's Waterloo, or well, Stalingrad. Now, a basic petrol Jetta costs you about 13 lakh rupees, but if you want the one I'm driving, which is a manual diesel, then you'd have to pay about 14.2 lakh rupees. I mean, with that sort of price, Volkswagen's really just pricing itself out of the market.
So what kind of car would we pick? Well, let's face it, I'm not exactly the target market for one of these cars. What you usually see an Altis or a Jetta doing is ferrying more upmarket young professionals, like people in the finance business, who wear suits to work and say things like, "The realty index futures look good today. I have so much money." So why not ask one of them what car they'd pick? But before we do that, I need to get into character. What do you drive right now?
Currently a Civic.
Okay.
Been driving that for the last 2 years now.
What do you think of the Altis?
It's fairly spacious, it's comfortable, but doesn't have the what Civic has in terms of wow factor, like the dashboard or the steering wheel.
Okay, so that was the Altis, and now it's the Jetta's turn. Morning, Mr. Modi. Absolutely.
Morning. Thank you.
So, how do you like the Jetta then?
It just feels very claustrophobic, right? I don't know if it's just my imagination, but it just feels smaller, even if I look at it compared to Altis or the Civic.
What about the Altis? You were in it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, the Altis not bad in terms of the space and comfort, but I still feel this to be slightly claustrophobic.
All right, Mr. Modi, here we go. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
So the finance guy went ahead and chose the Altis, and it makes sense. It is cheaper and far more value for money. But a decision like this is something that you'd have to make with your head and not with your heart. Now, buying a car like the Jetta or the Altis isn't the most inspiring or imaginative decision in the world. But then it does indicate to people, look at me, I've arrived. I'm doing well for myself, and though I might be some years away from that C-class, I'm getting there. And we're okay with that.